Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty is back behind bars after the Department of Justice is claiming that he robbed his label owner and Atlanta rapper Gucci Mane.
He walked out of federal prison in October 2025 with an ankle monitor locked to his leg, tracking every movement in real time. 3 months later, according to federal prosecutors, he allegedly walked into a Dallas recording studio with a weapon and a group of people. While that same monitor logged his exact location at the exact time everything went down. That detail is what separates this situation from a standard celebrity legal story. This wasn't a reckless decision made in a moment of emotion. If the allegations are accurate, this was organized. And it happened while the federal government was literally watching. Here's how it built to that point. Pooh Shiesty came out of Memphis in 2019 with a raw sound and no industry infrastructure. Gucci Mane signed him to 1017 Records, and the platform accelerated everything fast. Back in Blood with Lil Durk broke him through nationally. Charts, millions of streams, the kind of attention that turns an artist from promising to arrived within a single year. He became the face of Gucci's new 1017 era, the one people expected to carry the label forward. Then in 2021, a federal case tied to a situation in Florida started closing in. By 2022, he had taken a plea on a firearms conspiracy charge and received more than 5 years. The career momentum stopped, but his name didn't fade completely. His catalog kept generating, his reputation held in certain circles, and when his release got closer, expectations around his comeback were real. When he came home in October 2025, the conditions attached to that release were strict. An ankle monitor, a fixed location he couldn't leave without approval, a probation officer tracking his compliance, no contact with certain people, no new legal trouble. These weren't light restrictions. This was the most closely monitored period of supervised release, the window where any violation carries immediate consequences and the possibility of being sent back to finish the original sentence. Most people who understand the federal system know that this period requires maximum patience. You rebuild slowly, carefully, quietly. You don't make aggressive moves. Behind the scenes, the picture was more complicated. The disagreement with Gucci Mane wasn't publicly detailed at the time, but the general shape of it has emerged through reporting and court documents. The core issue was the contract. Pooh Shiesty had blown up significantly between signing with 1017 and going to prison. The deal that once made sense for where he was in his career no longer matched where his name had gone. There were conversations about the terms not reflecting his current value, about feeling contractually constrained in ways that limited what he could do with the new opportunity he was trying to build post-release. There was also interest from other labels. CMG, Yo Gotti's operation, was reportedly among those paying attention. A deal there would have represented a fresh start on different terms, but that option wasn't available while the 1017 contract was in place. You can't sign elsewhere while an active recording contract remains unresolved. The legal path to resolving that, negotiations, attorney involvement, formal contract discussions, was available. It's slow, it's frustrating, and it doesn't guarantee the outcome you want. But it's the path that doesn't create new federal exposure for someone already under federal supervision. That path wasn't taken. On January 10, 2026, a small group connected to Gucci flew to Dallas. They were told the meeting at a recording studio off Dallas Parkway was a chance to sit down and work through contract terms. The framing was standard. Industry people meet face-to-face to resolve disagreements all the time. Nothing about the invitation suggested what was actually being planned. What they walked into was not a negotiation. According to federal allegations, he arrived with a group that included his father, Lentrell Williams Sr., and Big 30. The visiting group was separated immediately upon entering. One portion taken to the recording room, another held in the control room. That kind of organized separation only happens when the people doing it already know their roles, and the situation has been structured in advance. In the recording room, Pooh Shiesty allegedly produced an AK-style firearm. Contract termination documents were already prepared, not written in the moment, but brought specifically for this purpose. Gucci Mane was told to sign. He refused initially. With a weapon present and multiple people in the room, the papers were eventually signed. His father reviewed the documents, flagged a missing date, and the paper went back for that edition under the same conditions. Big 30 recorded a video of Gucci verbally confirming the release, documentation designed to make the forced agreement usable after the fact. In the control room simultaneously, the situation turned physically violent. One victim was choked close to unconsciousness. Movement was blocked. Jewelry, cash, and personal belongings were taken. Multiple people inside the studio said afterward they didn't know if they would make it out of the building. The entire incident lasted more than an hour. When the group left, they didn't realize that the evidence had essentially built itself during the time they were inside. The ankle monitor was the foundation. Location data placed at the exact address at the exact time. There was no reconstruction needed, no ambiguity in the timeline. The GPS record was the record. From there, the evidence expanded in multiple directions simultaneously. Surveillance cameras from the studio and nearby businesses documented arrivals, vehicles, and departures that matched the timeline. Phone records showed travel between states in the days leading up to January 10th. The rental car used to transport people was traced back to his father. Social media posts from shortly after the incident showed items that visually matched what had been taken, posted publicly, with timestamps, by people who apparently didn't consider what that would look like to investigators. Physical evidence collected at the scene, including fingerprints, connected individuals to the location. Each piece came from a separate source. Together, they formed a chain that didn't rely on any single witness or any single account to hold up. By April 2026, federal authorities moved. Raids across Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville brought multiple arrests simultaneously. He was taken into custody. The charges were serious. Federal-level accusations tied to kidnapping and armed robbery, offenses that carry sentences ranging from decades to life depending on how the case is pursued. The fact that this allegedly occurred during supervised release added another layer that will factor directly into how any sentencing plays out. Courts treat violations during that period as evidence of ongoing risk. Judges don't view them lightly, and they're not supposed to. He was denied bond and remained in custody. Then came the detail that made the legal risk feel even more complete. The contract he allegedly forced Gucci Mane to sign under threat of a weapon is legally unenforceable. Anything signed under duress, meaning under threat, coercion, or force, cannot court as a valid agreement, which means the 1017 contract remains in place. Nothing changed contractually as a result of what happened in Dallas. The original goal wasn't achieved. The contract dispute that drove the situation still exists on paper exactly as it did before January 10th. The only thing that changed was the addition of federal charges that carry potential life sentences. Gucci Mane's response through music and public statements made his position clear without ambiguity. No verdict has been reached in this case. Everyone involved is legally presumed innocent until a court determines otherwise. The defense will have the opportunity to challenge the evidence and present its own account of events. But the shape of what's alleged, a platinum artist, 3 months out of federal prison, organizing an armed confrontation in a recording studio, while a GPS device tracked his every movement in pursuit of a contract release that the law would have voided the moment it was obtained through force, is a sequence that's difficult to process, regardless of where the legal proceedings eventually land. He had the name, he had the fan base, he had the platform that had survived incarceration once already, he had a new deal potentially waiting on the other side of a contractual dispute that lawyers handle every day in this industry. The path existed. It was slow, frustrating, and didn't guarantee the exact outcome he wanted. It was also the only path that didn't end here. Do you think this situation could have been resolved differently? Or was this always heading toward a breaking point? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more breakdowns on the cases shaping hip-hop right now.